I just want to make a couple introductions. First of all, if you'll notice in the back, we've got hometownnews.tv. So you can tell your friends to go ahead, and it's streaming live tonight. And we want to thank them for their live streaming webcast of tonight's presentation. Also on the far side over there, we're on the Parker Chamber table, we have two of our board of directors, and they are going to be part of the panel reviewing the questions. And that is Keena Peterson and Bill Shriver. Want to thank them for participating. And also, there is and there will be beverage service out there at all times. So if you feel the need to get a soda or a water or an adult beverage, it's all available out there throughout the event this evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce our moderator, and he is the Director of Douglas County Libraries. Put your hands together for Jamie LaRue.
Reviewing the questions.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming
Peterson
to our
and Bill
first
Shriver. Want to thank them for participating. Beverage service
and I apologize if there's too much light coming up
so
forehead.
You
may think it's
a soda or water
but it's just because I
an
read
adult
so
beverage,
much.
it's all available
all
out there.
Rays of light. Okay. Let me kind of walk through our format. We have a couple of races.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
First, we're going to begin with our candidates for U.S. Congress. I'm going to ask Brandon Schaefer to speak for about 5 minutes. Then we have someone speaking for Cory Gardner. And after each of them, we'll have 5 minutes to kind of talk. And I may see if we just have some kind of questions from the crowd just for maybe one apiece. And then we're going to move on to candidates for State Senate. We have Holly Gorman speaking for 5 minutes. And speaking for Mike Shuffle, we have Tanny Blackburn. And then after that, I'm going to allow these people, who I am sure have many, many other meetings to attend, to kind of wander off. And then we'll move into featuring at the far end over here our RTD candidates. I'll give each of them a minute to speak, and I have a question for each of them. Then we'll allow them to step down unless they just enjoy sitting up there in the limelight. And then we will kind of work down the list with some questions for the next hour. After that, we'll take a break, and while you're out here, if questions occur to you, you should have picked up little pieces of paper. First, we're going to begin with being waved in the back. So if you have a question that you want, jot down a question, hold it up, and we'll have one of our runners come and collect it from you. At that point, we'll kind of hand it up to our panel, and they'll sift through things to find that if A, that question has already been asked, B, if it's a duplicate question, we'll try to combine them, and then we'll try to look for the one that is the juiciest. Okay, and then finally, I just want to put a ground rule here. Because I am a librarian, I understand that there is a great similarity between civic and civil. We will remain polite. Okay? Are there any questions about general format?
Some kind of questions from the...
Okay, then allow me to introduce Brandon Schaefer, running for U.S. Congress in the newly formed District 4.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's a wonderful introduction, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this. I think it's a great service that you do for the community. I am Brandon Schaefer. I'm running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District, which now extends down to Parker. So we are standing in the 4th Congressional District right now. You are sitting in the 4th Congressional District. I'm a third-generation Coloradan, born and raised up in Denver, went to East High School, which is the same high school as my mom and my grandmother. Went out to college on an ROTC scholarship. So after graduating from college, went into the United States Navy on active duty. I made 2 deployments to the Persian Gulf, and sometimes people ask me what the best thing I got out of the Navy was, and I always have to say my wife. My wife was a 3rd grade teacher on the Department of Defense base there in Yokosuka, Japan, where I was home ported. We got set up on a blind date, and we've been dating ever since. Came back here to Colorado, went to law school at the University of Colorado, then moved up to Longmont, where we live today. I've got a 5-year-old and I've got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm not quite sure where the 5-year-old came out. We got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. My wife's a 5th grade teacher at the local elementary school in our neighborhood. I ran for the state legislature for the first time in 2004. Was elected to that office. In 2009, I was elected unanimously to be the president of the Colorado Senate by both the Democrats and the Republicans in the state Senate, and I've served as the president of the Senate for the last 3 years. Look, I know my time is short, so I am running for Congress. Today, there are fewer veterans in the United States Congress than at any time since World War II. And one of the things that you learn in the service is how to accomplish a mission, how to get a job done. I had a great honor to serve in the United States Navy. I took my ship to the Persian Gulf twice. And when I look at today's Congress, I'm disappointed because it's not just mission failure. I think sometimes they've forgotten what the mission is altogether, and that is to serve you and me. And you look at the debt limit debacle of last summer, where the credit limit for the country was lowered. You look at the failure to balance a budget or even come up with a plan for balancing the budget that set up a fiscal cliff that's on the horizon with sequestration. You look at their failure to pass a wind production tax credit that would help us keep jobs here in our state with Vestas. You look at their failure to pass a farm bill. And what you see is in Washington, D.C., we're managing our government from one manufactured crisis to another. And that's no way to run a business, and that's no way to run the United States government. I'm running for Congress because I'll get the job done. That's what I've done in the state legislature. I've balanced budgets every year that I've been in the state legislature, and it's exactly what I'll do in Washington, D.C. as your congressman. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you.
And giving a statement for Cory Gardner will be Jerry Lockwood.
Good evening, everybody. I am so honored tonight to stand before you and allow me to speak on behalf of Congressman Gardner today. I need my glasses, though.
Done in the state legislature.
During the congressman's first term, he has proven himself to be a conservative leader. He has fought to end the reckless, out-of-control spending that threatens to drive this country over a fiscal cliff, voting for historic budgets. He has led the charge on reducing duplicate government programs and fought to stop job-killing rules and regulations. He's talking about my business on this one. The congressman's work on the Energy and Commerce Committee has been dedicated to moving this country towards energy independence. 2 of his bills geared towards the goals have passed the House of Representatives with bipartisan support. The legislation would mean thousands of new jobs by taking advantage of the energy resources available to us right here in America. These efforts have earned the congressman distinction among his peers. He has been named as policymaker to watch in energy by Politico and one of the top 5 House freshmen by Roll Call magazine. The congressman's demonstrated leadership and his promotion of common sense conservative solutions make him the ideal representative for the voters in the 4th Congressional District. He knows that the best way to turn this country around to get government out of the way and let America work. However, there is still much more work to be done. While the historic election of 2010 has done much to stop this administration's failed economic policies, this election will determine if we can finally implement the solutions that are needed to put America back on the path of prosperity. To do this, we will need a cooperative Senate and a president willing to work across the aisle. It has been the congressman's distinct honor to serve you during his first term in office, and I hope he can count on your support this November. Thank you, everybody.
Put America back on the path. It's distinct honor to serve you during
our next speaker will be Holly Gorman, who's a candidate for the state Senate. Again,
and I hope he can count on your support.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much to the Parker Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event and to Sue for helping to organize it. Thank you, Jamie, for facilitating this. Thank you all so much for coming out and participating in your civic process. This is such an opportunity that you guys have to do this, and I'm glad that the town of Parker has done this. The Chamber of Parker. I am Holly Gorman, and I'm running for the Colorado Senate. And quite frankly, darn it, I voted for my opponent 4 years ago. He was the best candidate for this position at that time. I'm running because I do not feel represented in my community. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an educator. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have 3 daughters, 1 in college, 2 that attend Douglas County School District, 1 of which is developmentally delayed. In my job, well, I started out my career in the criminal justice system, and I saw, you know what? I saw it wasn't working. What we were doing with kids just didn't seem to be working. And I had the opportunity to go in and teach law-related education in schools and teach kids about juvenile justice. And I fell in love with education. And so I thought, rather than staying in the criminal justice system, trying to help kids, that I would go into education and try to help kind of from the front end. And so for the last several years, I've